I'm gonna be selling this bike tomorrow. I've had it for a year and a couple months, and well, probably a year and a half now at this point. I got it to go to the track, and I went one time, and I realized that if I was gonna go to a track, I needed, well, everyone says they need more power, but probably needing more power isn't the right thing to say. I would say that I would be more comfortable with more power because on the straightaways I was just getting smoked. That's the other thing, is that the friction zone is nothing, so you can't, it ends up stalling out really easily because there's no power at idle. You really have to rev her up to get anything out of it, which to be fair is just a skill issue, right? Like just have better clutch control. And part of that too is the throttle has this weird flat spot, or not really flat spot, but more like slack in the cable, which is entirely unadjustable because it's an electronic throttle. It's ride by wire. So there's no cables you can tighten up. They don't make any components that I can put in there to take the slack out. So it just ends up being this really annoying gap between when you turn your wrist and when it starts to get any power, which is a minor thing to complain about when it was intended to be a track bike. But it turns out that I ended up riding this more on the street. I mean, I only put 2,000, 3,000 miles on it. I bought it at 7,000 miles and we're almost at 10. But I did learn a lot from this bike in terms of doing your own maintenance, because I did the valves at 9,000. I learned a lot in terms of working on a bike, especially on one small like this with the trellis frame, because it was not easy to get into the valves. The last thing I don't like is how loud this exhaust is. It just makes too much noise. I'm not a fan of that. The rear shock feels good. The brakes are rock solid. This thing sounds terrible. Of course. It looks quite rainy over there. Now that I'm at highway speeds and we're revving along here, that's the last other thing. This thing is so vibrating, especially at the tank. I mean, there's this game at Chuck E. Cheese, this gorilla game where you hold these metal bars and it vibrates. This is like playing that game. And it's right on your nuts too, so it's not like it's a good... Wonder what that was about. That cop was following me for way too long. Alright, we made it. Let me put the kickstand down. Get one last good look at her.